So you're trying to get a handle on the Australian visa process, right? It can feel a little complicated. And there's one particular requirement that pretty much every single applicant needs to get right. Today, we're going to break down exactly what that is and how you can deal with it step by step. If you're deep into your visa application right now, you've definitely seen this question pop up. What is the Australian value statement? It's so much more than just a box to tick, and really understanding it is absolutely key to making your application go smoothly.
So what is it really? Well, at its core, the Australian Value Statement, let's just call it the AVS, is basically your formal way of saying, yep, I get it. I understand the principles that shape life in Australia, and I promise to respect that way of life while I'm here. Okay, so where do you even begin with all this? Well, believe it or not, the entire process kicks off with one really important document. And honestly, it's a pretty straightforward two-step deal. First, you get informed by reading the Life in Australia booklet. Then, after you've done that, you formally agree to the values by signing the statement. Read, then sign. Simple as that.
Now, I know what you might be thinking, a government booklet, right? But this isn't just some dry, boring document. It's actually designed to give you a real feel for Australia's history, its culture. You know, what makes the society what it is. It's the why behind all the values you're agreeing to. And here's the good part. You are absolutely not expected to figure this all out by yourself if you're finding it tricky. The government actually encourages you to get help. You can totally ask a friend, a family member, your visa sponsor, or even your migration agent to walk you through it.
And get this, just to show how serious they are about making sure everyone understands, the booklet is available in over 40 different languages. That is a huge deal for accessibility.
So you'll find it in languages like Arabic.
And of course, Chinese.
You've got it in Hindi.
It's also in Spanish.
And Vietnamese. And honestly, that's just scratching the surface. The whole point is to give everyone a fair shot at understanding exactly what they're agreeing to, no matter where they're from.
All right, so let's say you've read the booklet. Now for the big question. What are these core Australian values that you're actually agreeing to uphold?
First on the list is all about individual freedoms. This is a big one. It means respecting the freedom and dignity of every single person. It also covers your right to practice any religion you choose, or no religion at all. Plus, freedom of speech and the freedom to associate with whoever you want. Next up, we've got the rule of law and democracy. This one's pretty simple, but so important. It just means that everybody, and I mean everybody, has to obey the law. And those laws, they're made by people we all vote for in a democratic system.
Then there's this really iconic Aussie idea of a fair go. You'll hear this a lot. It's all about equality of opportunity for everyone, no matter your gender, race, or background. It's all built on a foundation of respecting each other, being tolerant, and having some compassion for people who might be in need.
And the last piece of the puzzle is about the English language. The statement acknowledges that English is the national language of Australia, and it's seen as this really important thread that helps tie the whole society together.
Okay, now listen up, because this next part is super important, especially depending on your long-term plans. The statement you sign actually changes a little bit if you're going for a temporary visa versus a permanent one.
Let's break this down. See, everyone applying, whether it's temporary or permanent, agrees to obey Australian laws and respect those values we just talked about. That's the baseline. But if you're on the path to permanent residency, you have to agree to two extra things. First, you promise to make a reasonable effort to learn English, and second, you acknowledge that down the road, if you decide to become a citizen, you'll need to pledge your loyalty to Australia. So yeah, that's a key difference to be aware of.
All right, we've covered the what and the why, so now let's get down to the nitty-gritty, the final step. How do you actually sign this thing?
And I really can't stress this enough. You do not want to skip this step. The official government advice is crystal clear. If you don't sign the Australian Value Statement, your application could get seriously delayed, or even flat out refused. It's not a suggestion, it is a must-do. Another thing to keep in mind, this isn't something you just do once and forget about. Every single time you apply for a new visa, you have to sign that statement again. It's like a fresh promise with every new application.
So how do you actually do it? It's really simple. If you're doing your application online, it's just a button you have to select to show you agree. And if you're going with a paper form, you'll just see a spot where you need to put your physical signature. Easy as that. And that's pretty much the whole process. But it does leave us with one last thought, doesn't it? Signing a form is the requirement, but embracing these values is what really helps build a cohesive, respectful community. So the real question is, beyond the paperwork, how do these principles show up in your everyday life in Australia?